If you keep a very small circle of friends, or maybe you prefer to be completely alone, society often labels you as antisocial, difficult, or lonely. But psychology says something very different. It says you likely possess a high social IQ and a rare personality trait called relational depth. If you can count your true friends on one hand, it's not because you are bad at making friends. It's because you have fundamentally different wiring when it comes to connection. You have experienced specific things in life that taught you music, that access to your energy is a privilege, not a right. You aren't isolating yourself, you are curating your life, and if you've ever felt guilty for not being popular, the following 5 experiences will explain exactly why you are the way you are. 1. You have a physical intolerance for performative socializing. You have probably experienced a moment where you were in a group setting, a party, a dinner, a meeting, and you suddenly felt your energy battery drained to zero. Not because you were tired, but because the conversation was fake. Psychology calls this inauthenticity detection. Your brain is hypersensitive to social masks. You can sense when someone is complimenting you but doesn't mean it, or when people are gossiping to bond. For most people, this is just socializing. For you, it is exhausting. You have learned that you would rather sit in a room by yourself and stare at a wall than spend 1 hour participating in a conversation that has no soul. You cut your circle small, not to keep people out music, but to keep the peace in. 2. You experienced a trust trauma that raised your standards. Music people with small circles usually share one specific history. You used to be the person who fixed everyone. You used to have a big group. You were the giver, the listener, the one who showed up. And then you got burned. Maybe it was a specific betrayal. Or maybe it was a slow realization that while you were checking on everyone else, nobody was checking on you. Psychology suggests that this creates a high trust threshold. You learn the hard way that friend is a heavy word. You stopped handing out your loyalty for free. You don't keep a small circle because you are bitter. You keep a small circle because you realize that 100 acquaintances are worth less than one person who actually picks up the phone when your car breaks down. 3. You cannot physically endure small talk. If someone asks you, "How about this weather?" or "What do you do for work?" your brain immediately checks out. You have probably experienced being called intense or quiet because you refuse to engage in surface-level chatter. Research on giftedness and social interaction shows that people with higher cognitive processing crave music macro conversations. You want to talk about ideas, about fears, about why we are here, about the universe. If a connection doesn't have depth, you view it as a waste of time. You aren't being rude. You are just conserving your mental energy for the conversations that actually matter. You would rather have one deep conversation a year than 1,000 shallow ones every day. 4. You have experienced the crisis test. There's a saying in psychology that crisis reveals your true network. You have likely gone through a hard season, a breakup, a job loss, a depression, and you watched your friends disappear. This experience was painful, but it was also a gift. It acted like a forest fire that cleared out the dead wood. You realized that most people are just there for the party, not the cleanup. This experience gave you crisis clarity. It taught you that the person who sits with you in the dark is the only one who deserves to walk with you in the light. Your circle is small because you only kept the survivors. 5. You have discovered JOMO, the joy of missing out. While the world suffers from FOMO, fear of missing out, you have experienced the bliss of a canceled plan. You have reached a point where your own company is better than forced company. This isn't isolation. It is self-sufficiency. Psychology shows that the ability to be alone without feeling lonely is a sign of high emotional maturity. You don't need a crowd to validate your existence. You have built a world inside your own head that is rich and interesting enough that you don't need to constantly seek distraction. Here is the reality. A small circle isn't a lack of options. It is a choice of quality. You are not broken. You are just expensive. If you are protective of your circle, lock emoji in the comments below. And if you want to understand more about why your personality makes you different from the crowd, hit that subscribe button right music now and join our email list in the description for more valuable content like